Welcome back, Hortlings, to more Spellcasting 101! Sorcerers, get all the gears! Yes, we're back here at the beginning because the game hoarder, being the somewhat of a completionist, decided to show you some other ways to get out of the room here in the beginning of the game. There's actually three ways. There's the way that we've gone through out of the toilet, which is my favorite way. Another thing we can do is we can get some hay, or get some actually hay spelled right. And let's see here. We have a right window, so what you want to do here, you can put down hay. Put let's see. Open right window. Open left window. Put A by right window. I know there's some way to do this. When the hay falls to the alley, the horse sniffs and slowly trundles over to the pile of hay, pulling the cart along. The horse stops below the window and makes a short shift of the hay. Okay, then Joey Rottenwood comes in and beats our ass. You execute a graceful swan dive into the cart full of mud, which unfortunately turns out to be a cart full of shit. After slithering to the floor of the alley, you strip off your manure-coated cloak and hurl it as far away as possible, leaving you naked and still fairly well covered with shit. So here we are back in the same scene. And the other way to get out, the last and final third way, is once you come in here, you can take the waste, or potty chamber rather. Moving the potty reveals a small metal grate. Now instead of going through the grate, we'll go back south. The fire and the waste both vanish into a cloud of foul-smelling smoke, which soon clears to reveal a fireplace of smoking embers. So you basically pour your excrement all over the fire, and that puts the fire out. You claw your way up the chimney. It's a tight fit. So tight, in fact, that a protruding fire brick rips the cloak right off your back, leaving you naked, scratched and streaked with soot. Finally, you break into the daylight. Except now that puts us up on the rooftop. You're on a steeply sloped roof of the cottage. The shingles are slippery underfoot. A trail of soot leads several yards to the crumbling chimney top. To the south, a large dead branch protrudes from the Tigerbelly's yard, across the alley, to the overhang, the rooftop. To overhang the rooftop. Okay, so Find dead branch. You start along the branch hand over hand toward the tree trunk in the neighboring yard. Already you can imagine sliding down the trunk, stealing some clothing, hitching a ride to Sorcerer U, graduating with honors, and returning to win the admiration of your friends in the heart of Lola Tigerbelly. Suddenly the world seems like such a beautiful place filled with the sound of tweeting birds, rustling leaves, and one of their... and then it skips a bunch of text. And anyways, crack, the branch gives way and deposits you in a particularly slurpy mud puddle and puts us right back where we are every other time. So here we are. Chapter 2. Sorcerer University once again. We have a cloak, desk, donkey, dung hall. We can kind of look at these different things here. There's a plaque. Donkey Dung Hall, David and Doris Donkey Dung, dedicated 909. Look at all. Get in long line. You get in the long line, which moves at a reasonable pace. You shouldn't have to wait too long. You reach the front of the line and approach the registrar. Your record is missing a few pieces of vital information, so I need to ask you a few questions. According to your registration form, where will you be living this term? Good question. This is the copy protection. You seem to be missing your class rank. What is it? Seven. It looks like you're signed up for Physical Skills 101. Tell me, where your form says that class is being held. Man, I don't know. I don't have the book on me. Your information is incorrect. You cannot register at Sorcerer U. You might try Pirates U. Oh. Alright, time to dig out the book. Waiting and waiting. The name of my advisor, okay. Record shows that you're from Port Gecko. Say, I had a cousin from Gecko. Anyways, what alumni sector is that in? Uh, 14? This is a pain in the dick. Let's try it again. 9179 is my ID number according to the book. What was my health score? None. Does your registration form happen to be mentioned who's going to be teaching Ethics 101? I think all courses are in Melting Wolf Hall. This is harder than the Leisure Suit Larry copy protection. Frogkisser House is where we're living. We seem to be missing your class rank. What is it? '23. Spellcasting 101. Warty Toad is teaching that. To register our ways officiously. You are now registered for the upcoming term. Here's your spell book. Carry it with you at all times. Please move along. The days at Sorcerer U fly past, allowing the author to jump ahead to more interesting parts of the story. We rejoin Ernie Eaglebeak as he crosses the campus between classes several weeks into term. This quadrangle, seen here from the ramparts of Sorcerer Stadium, is the heart of Sorcerer U campus. To the east is aged Melting Wolf Hall, the original building of Sorcerer U. Brick buildings flank the court to the north and south, and the stadium looms to the west. Brick walks also lead northwest and southwest. In the center of the courtyard is an impressive fountain. A stone plaque is nestled amongst the shrubbery. Copies of today's edition of school newspaper are piled here. Many people are grabbing copies as they cross the court. It's amazing how many folks have fish that need wrapping. I guess that's why they're grabbing the newspaper. That's supposed to be a funny joke, because it's not that funny. Just all the awesome stuff we have. A spell book with the BIP spell. First we want to save here. Now that we're finally past the copy protection. Examine BIP spell. You gotta learn to spell, man. Have you seen one BIP spell? You've seen them all. Okay, so we can cast spells just by saying cast in the name of the spell. We have a lot of shit to look at here. Where's that newspaper pile? Let's go ahead and read the newspaper. Oh man, you're so precise. A newspaper nymph appears an inch in front of your nose.
You can take a paper, but you can't take the whole pile, asshole.
As quickly as it came, the nymph is gone. Okay, so... half the fun of these games is figuring out the correct combination of structuring the sentence, if you will. So look in newspaper pile. How can you do that? Examine it, newspaper pile. Let's just say get newspaper. Read newspaper. This is the student newspaper, the Sorcerer Source. An old campus joke. The school newspaper is only good for lining chicken coops. Thus the origin of the phrase, what's source for the goose is source for the gander. There are 4 features that you can read. News, arts, sports, and editorials. Well, we gotta read all this shit, because this is a text adventure game, god damn it. Frat stays with controversial band. The Port Gecko fraternity has announced that the band whose lyrics some find offensive will continue to play at the house parties for the duration of their week-long contract. The band has particularly outraged certain members of the Sioux community with their song The Sorcerers Rap. The song lyrics, according to one anti-band activist, are raunchy and promote violence against women. Frat brothers defended their decision to retain the band, citing the expense of breaking the contract, the popularity of the band, and the fact that they have played at numerous other area colleges without complaint. President Aaron Snowbunny, upon leaving a faculty meeting on the subject, appealed to both sides to sit down and discuss their differences, and offered to appoint a blue ribbon commission to explore the issues raised by the band's controversial lyrics. The arts section, Blue Demon Fever builds. Excitement on campus is swelling as Friday's big concert by the mega hit group The Blue Demons approaches. The Blue Demons, a septet formed 2 years ago, has spurted to impressive levels of popularity with monstrously successful songs like I Chewed My Heart Out Over You and Sacrifice Me on the Altar of Your Love and Use Me, Abuse Me, Turn Me into a Fucking Frog. Your editor has seen the Demons on nearly 20 occasions and can assure you that you don't want to miss this event. The Demons consistently deliver their unique and excellent brand of loud music, cutting-edge choreography, lighting effects, and disembowelment. The concert will be held at Sorcerer Stadium on Friday at 7 p.m. Tickets cost 17 gold pieces and go on sale 2 hours before the concert. What was their news, art, sports, and editorials? Read sports. Quidditch? They're playing fucking Quidditch. Hellhound wrestlers play second in Dandeville Open. The SU Piglets, or Sioux Piglets, as I like to call them, have finished an unexpected second in the prestigious Dandeville Open, often referred to as the World Cup of Hellhound Wrestling. Team Captain Barrett Angry Raincloud, class of 38, led the team, scoring a personal high of 372 points, with the single-handedly felling the number 2 and number 5 hounds. Angry Raincloud is third-ranked Hell Wrestler amongst all the collegiate seniors, and is expected to be a top pick in next month's pro draft. The second-place finish is a dramatic improvement from last year's 9th-place finish. And although Angry Raincloud will be departing soon, second-year men Mike Bubbly Waters and Iggy Stunted Tree should continue to improve, spelling more success for the Hell Wrestlers next season. That's fucking good to know. Follow my face. And then there was the editorials. Frat should dump band. Port Gecko should respond to distressed members of the Sioux community and tell controversial band they've hired to take their lewd lyrics elsewhere. The band's most famous song, The Sorcerers Rap, contains verses which would make the most hard-bitten sailor or dock worker blush. Such crudity has no place in an enlightened environment like the Sioux campus. TKB's reasons for retaining the band's services are transparently thin. A few gold pieces are not worth the distress this band causes. The band's popularity is subjective judgment, and the fact that the band played other colleges without protest simply indicates the special sensitivity of the Sioux community. TKB should bite the bullet and boot the band. So we've read the newspaper. We'll go ahead and restore because I like getting my time back in these games. And I don't think that's going to help us progress the game. What else do we have? We have a pigeon. Let's kill the pigeon. Gee, if you got that much aggressive energy, maybe you should be playing some shoot 'em up, not an adventure game. After all, it's not like the pigeon is some kind of monster or anything. Fuck pigeon. We have some trainee parsers visiting today. Don't expose them to that kind of language. Fuck me. Throw newspaper at pigeon. I just said a single newspaper. Play in fountain. The fountain is spouting its usual plume of water. Drink from fountain. You're not thirsty. What else? I don't see too much else here to play with. There's some ivy we could try climbing. Get ivy. Ugh. Climb ivy. Youch! Prickly ivy! Talk to pigeon. Your Uncle Mo was once found talking to a pigeon. He's now living in the loony bin. A bell rings signifying the start of early afternoon class. Now there will be sections of this game where I'm pausing the camera because I'm obviously stuck and I'm trying to figure out where to go and where to move the Let's Play. I'm going to try to screw around with the parser as much as possible. But the end game here is just to show completing the game. I didn't want to just do a straight walkthrough where it's all the commands and to get from beginning to end without being able to explore all the magnificent dialogue that was created around the start to finish of this game. So you'll see me save and reload at certain points where I can just kind of like play around, examine the area, and then I'll probably restore if nothing comes of it. Usually meaning didn't score any points. Trying to score points here. That's how we know we're progressing. The first floor of the castle in the main lecture hall for freshman classes. This is Melting Wolf Hall here, folks. Rows of old lecture seats carved with graffiti, old and new, line the room. Arched openings lead northeast and east. A wide stair winds toward the upper floors. Doorways lead west to the court, and a long hallway points southwest. A tarnished plaque is mounted next to the western doorway. A tiny trap door, hidden to most eyes, but visible to the endlessly questing eyes of a veteran adventure game player like you. It's set into the flow. I see that little tiny trap door. We're going to actually come back here later. This is the simulation lab. As Dr. Batguano, Dr. Batshit, I'm going to call him from now on, an early president of the school, was fond of saying,
"Of what worth is it to fill these labs with teeming volumes of theories of magic, only to send them forth into the world and see them scorched to a cinder by a dragon or sliced into small bits of steaming haggis at their first encounter with the common country rogue?"
Thus was born the simulation labs, where students could come and test their magic casting skills in practical situations. The simulation lab is a large bare room. A single wooden chair is bolted to the floor in the center of the room. There are exits on the northern and western walls. The time-worn simulation chair sits ominously in the center of the room, unused at the moment. As you settle into the hard chair, a disembodied mechanical voice reverberates through the chamber.
"Student Eaglebeak, Ernie, freshman class advisor, auto ticking clock. Begin auto installation of simulation spells completed. The simulation will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We are now on the far side of a moat. A deep moat. Its banks lined with razor-sharp rocks forms a barrier to the south. An ancient tree leans over the moat. and happier surroundings. You can imagine children tying a hefty rope to its lowest branch and swinging into the water. We need to know what our spells do. That's going to be kind of important here. I need to bust out my book here. I think I have a digital copy. The problem is I don't want to have to go through 25 boxes to find this game. You know, I have about 900 box PC games, so it's kind of a bitch to go find one. And pretty sure I have all three of these. And yes, I will be LPing all three of these. I love these old games. They're fun as shit to just get in and play with, even at this day and age. Just don't make them like this anymore. The parser, of course, can be super annoying because you know what you want to tell the system, but you have to find those exact keywords so that it understands you. And clicking on that shit on the left side of the screen does not always work. Let's try examine Bib spell. Examine Gub spell. Okay, so that doesn't help. Leaning tree. Oh. The roots of the tree seem to wither before your eyes. Then, so slowly at first that you're not sure it's even happening, the tree begins to tip. Faster and faster it tips, until it falls against the far side of the moat, with an earth-shaking impact, forming a crude but usable bridge across the moat. Okay. Well, we know Bip has something to do with love spell, and Gub has something to do with warping wood. Have a sword too. Ooh, a lead-plated sword. Okay, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. Look at you. Cast Divide. A finger of magical energy zips and circles around you, finally striking the lead-plated sword. Nothing happens, unsurprising, since the lead-plated sword isn't a plant. You hear a distant scream. The spell hangs in the air for a moment, shimmering with unused power, then it dissipates. Dissipates without effect. The world dissolves around you. Simulation lab on the simulation chair. The time Lord simulation unused at the moment. I thought I was just using it. The monitoring professor enters the room. Wait a second while I reclaim the simulation spells. Okay, your grade is 25. That's pretty bad. Lucky we don't have a level 0 for sorcerers like you. Hit the book, Cecil Brook. By the time the post-simulation dizziness is cleared, the professor has left. Maybe we do need to go over the books. Let's see if we can keep practicing. Maybe not. Let's try it one more time. And we can do a backup save here. Far side of the moat. Okay. So we know cast Gub on tree. Can only go south here. You stand between a deadly moat and the towering sandstone walls of a castle keep. The very top of the keep, 100 feet above you, is a narrow window. Clinging tenaciously around the base of the keep are clumps of sickly ivy, climbing 3 or 4 feet up the walls. A plume of fire shoots past your shoulder and hits the castle wall, leaving it glowing with an unearthly color. You spin around and see an atomic dragon closing in. He looks fucking cool. A scream of distress spills from the tower window. Kill dragon with sword. A strong blow, but a bit off mark. You succeed only in nicking the dragon's impressive natural armor. A scream of distress spills from the tower. The dragon bellows a challenge, and then a mighty blast of glowing dragon breath washes past you as you dodge to the side. Breaks my concentration. Cast Bip on dragon. It got a little bit better. Still pretty bad. Alright, Zem is a buff spell. Maybe that'll help us defeat the dragon now that we can cast it without him roaring in my face. Attack dragon with sword. The mighty blow drives the sword deep into the dragon's bosom. Badly wounded, the dragon bellows mournfully, spreads its awesome wings, and soars away, with the blade still embedded in its mighty chesticle. A scream of distress spills from the tower window. Cast. Only spell I haven't tried. The ivy begins growing madly, its thickening vines climbing the tower until they surround the window far above. A little growth spell. Alright! Our first shot of boobies! This lofty cell and its drab draftiness reminds you of your own bedchamber prison in Port Gecko. The only exit beside the window is a flimsy trapdoor in the floor. The trapdoor is closed. A fetching damsel in distress is chained to the floor. Various rodents nip at her feet. Her gown is torn nearly to shreds, and she looks as if she's about to faint. A pendulum with a razor-sharp edge swings back and forth above the damsel, dropping lower and lower with each pass. A long-wooden lever is mounted to the wall. The pendulum stops moving. The damsel swoons with relief. You suddenly feel less robust as the Zem spell wears off. You unchain the damsel.
Oh, thank you, kind sorcerer.
The world dissolves around you. Alright, we got 100. Nice work, Egg Beater. By the time the post-simulation dizziness is cleared, the professor has left. Do we get any points for that? I don't know. Anyways, folks, that wraps it up for this episode of Sorcerer University. Sorcerers get all the girls. Sorcery 101. We'll see you soon.